The debate is building over policing and race relations in the city of Springfield, with calls for change coming after the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Good evening and thank you for joining us at Western Mass News at 6 o'clock. I'm Sarah Guernelli. The mayor is planning to hold a discussion on the topic on Monday, but some members of the city council say they're not going. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joins us live in Springfield with more. Audrey?
Members of the city council, including the council president, say they don't know who's been invited to participate in the mayor's roundtable discussion on race this coming Monday. They also contend that there are things the mayor can do to improve police and race relations in the city without holding another meeting.
We don't want to meet and then there be no action.
Springfield City Council President Justin Hurst tells Western Mass News he, along with several other councilors, will not be attending the mayor's Monday discussion on race. This discussion comes as the city faces a lawsuit from the Massachusetts chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union. The ACLU says they're bringing litigation over the city's refusal to provide records related to the Nathan Bills case, in which 5 Springfield police officers are facing charges. For Hurst, that case is crucial to the city's view of police accountability.
It culminates with the Nathan Bills case and then the reinstatement of these 5 officers. And to me, that's leadership that starts at the top. That is something that I believe that the mayor can do before we have to have a meeting. We shouldn't have to meet about things that can be done unilaterally.
The ACLU released a statement on their lawsuit saying, in part, quote, "We need to fundamentally shift the role police play in our society. That begins with transparency and accountability."
More than ever now, training and education is key.
At the presentation of his proposed 2021 budget, Sarno says the upcoming year's allocation for the police department would be 0.8% less than in 2020. In a call with Congressman Richard Neal to learn more about national police reform legislation, Sarno says he had questions about changes he could make here at home.
And it asked specifically about funding opportunities. So you could look upon maybe taking some things off the police department's plate, such as mental health.
Sarno responded to Western Mass News in a statement regarding Councilor Hurst's decision not to attend Monday's roundtable, saying he was disappointed. Sarno says in part, quote, "Open and honest dialogue is the best tool we have to effect meaningful change. I am looking forward to our roundtable discussion with leaders of our city on Monday and many more community meetings to follow." This all comes as 2 nearby cities propose big changes to their police funding. The mayor of Boston announcing that he wants to move $12 million from the police budget to mental health and counseling services. Hartford, their city council voted to move $1 million from their police department to family and youth services. Live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Thanks, Audrey. Protests happening in West Springfield over the death of George Floyd today. Protests have organized a sit-in outside of the police station. That's where we find Western Mass News reporter Lindsay Kane. Lindsay, how's it been so far?
Sarah, this youth organized peaceful protest just wrapped up here. It started at 3 o'clock at West Springfield High School. Protesters marching 2 miles from the high school here to the police station, chanting and holding signs, and then they organized a sit-in. Protesters chanting George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and no justice, no peace. The sit-in after the march featured various speakers from all over Western Mass. Protesters also laid on the ground for 9 minutes to remember those who have been murdered by police, kneeling in solidarity in honor of George Floyd, or standing with a fist in the air for those 9 minutes. Mayor William Reichelt tells Western Mass News this is the first protest he has ever seen in West Springfield.
This movement definitely has momentum, and it's an important issue. Generally changing police use of force, and my chief and I have already met last week to look at the whole campaign Zero's 8 That Can't Wait and the Obama pledge to put that in motion here. And we have a civilian public safety commission that oversees our police and fire. So we met with them on Wednesday about putting those initiatives in motion.
I believe freshman year of high school was the worst.
This is just one of the many protests happening all over the nation and here in Western Mass after the death of George Floyd. West Springfield police were here on scene, but all protesters remain peaceful. Live in West Springfield, Lindsay Kane, Western Mass News.
Thank you, Lindsay. Springfield Bishop Mitchell Rosansky is leading a prayer service for racial healing tonight in the wake of what happened to George Floyd and the national unrest. Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis is live at St. Mitchell's Cathedral in Springfield with more.
Sarah, the prayer service began at 5 o'clock and it just ended. Now, the bishop tells me this is a critical time to bring people together for prayer. In the midst of the coronavirus pandemic and systemic racism, he says people need to be able to heal. About 100 people came together in prayer here at the cathedral, including Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno and Police Commissioner Cheryl Clapprood. The mayor says he appreciates the bishop's spiritual leadership. I spoke with Bishop Rosansky shortly before the service about why it's important for people to pray together in times of uncertainty.
Coming together as a people of faith, we believe in the importance of a change of heart. And really what will solve not only our racial strife in this country, but so many other problems that we face is a change of heart. And the only way to have a change of heart is to bring things to God in prayer.
We should know earlier this week it was announced Bishop Rosansky will become the new Archbishop in St. Louis. He will leave Springfield in August. Live in Springfield, Leon Purvis, Western Mass News.
Thank you, Leon. Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno announced today a budget recommendation for the fiscal year of 2021. In his proposal, there will be no layoffs, furloughs, or cut of essential city services. Due to the coronavirus pandemic and following the economic shutdown, the budget had to be revised. The recommendations for the fiscal year budget totals $728.6 million, a $36.9 million increase over the fiscal year of 2020 that was adopted. The budget increase is driven by the Promise Act reform bill. And here's a look at today's numbers for COVID-19 cases. So far, the state has reported 100,811 confirmed cases, and that is up 307 from yesterday. They say there are now 4,248 probable cases, and that is up 85 from yesterday. In all, there are now 105,059 total cases in the Bay State. There are 45 more confirmed deaths today, bringing the total to 7,382. There is one additional death among probable cases for a total of 156. The statewide death toll now stands at 7,538. And for more coverage on the coronavirus emergency as it develops, log on to our free Western Mass News streaming app.
Well, we got some beneficial rain yesterday in many locations. It's allowing for everything to kind of flourish a little bit more in your garden. We've got this beautiful rose bush kind of climbing up the side of the house. I love it, from Brenda. It's gorgeous. And today's temperatures did manage to get into the lower 80s for many here across the area. Even some middle 80s out toward Westfield, upper 70s through North Adams and Pittsfield. Perfect day out there today. We do have a couple of scattered clouds that'll start diminishing as we continue throughout the evening. Lots of blue sky there on the western horizon. 81 degrees right now in Springfield with a dew point at 49. It's also a little breezy, which is nice. It's making the day feel a bit more comfortable. Lower 70s in North Adams and Pittsfield right now, but still lower 80s. So a big difference there once you get up into some of the hill towns and the Berkshires. Everyone is cooling off significantly though tonight. It is blustery. Winds usually tend to kind of pick up or ramp up right toward the end of the day. And wind right now is at about 10 to 20 miles an hour, occasionally gusting a little bit higher than that. Wind will start backing off once the sun goes down, but we will keep a bit of a breeze overnight. So it's actually a really good night to leave the windows open. Skies will become mostly clear if they haven't in your area already, and overnight temps will be dropping into the upper 40s and lower 50s. Bit chilly out there through the morning with wind out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow morning, if you're like me and you love having your coffee out on the patio, go for it, but you might need a blanket or maybe a sweatshirt. Temperatures will start off in the 50s. We end up at about 70 by noon, maybe even 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's going to take a little while for us to warm up, but a perfect day for the kiddos to hang out outdoors. We will have lots of sun, so you still need the sunscreen, but it won't be nearly as warm. Highs only getting to around 75 tomorrow, but it's looking good for the rest of the weekend and even into next week.